Naturally, we may feel confident speaking before audiences that we know and we understand, that we feel comfortable with. We may feel as though we are in our sweet spot as speakers, but what about when we are asked to speak to audiences that are completely different from who we are? They are a completely different demographic. Y'all, I consider my sweet spot Christian women, writers and speakers, and audiences of color. People that are, you guessed it, just like me. But I will never forget when God opened the door for me to speak to a majority white male audience that never, ever had a woman of color speak to them before. Hey sis, welcome to the Entrusted Women Podcast, a one-point podcast created to equip Christian women communicators of color. Now, every episode focuses on a single point to equip you in one of four areas: purpose, writing, speaking, and business. Along the way, I will share stories, lessons, tips, mistakes, and real-time experiences that I am learning on my journey as a Christian woman communicator of color. Now, let's dive into episode 24. Today's point is, you can tweak one message for different audiences. Yes, girlfriend. Now, I got a question for you. Have you ever envisioned yourself speaking on a stage or at a conference, in an arena? I already know you have, because you're watching this video. Did you consider what you would wear, how you would be introduced, what your hair would look like, or the applause that you most certainly would receive after you finished your talk? Since I'm a bit embarrassed to say I have done this a ton of times, unfortunately, this is a little bit flawed thinking. Yes, flawed. Don't hate the messenger. It's flawed because anytime we get the privilege to speak to a group of people, no matter the size, it is about them and not about us. Real talk. Of course, we need to consider how we present ourselves, but what is most important are the needs of the people that we are speaking to, right? This will dictate the content of our talk. Speaking, although we are standing at a podium or sitting on a platform or holding a mic in our hand, is still in the category of servant. We might as well be washing feet at our speaking engagement, because that is what we are doing, just in a different form. And because that's what we're doing, this means that we must become students of our audience in order to serve them well. Naturally, we may feel confident speaking before audiences that we know and we understand, that we feel comfortable with. We may feel as though we are in our sweet spot as speakers, but what about when we are asked to speak to audiences that are completely different from who we are? They are a completely different demographic. Y'all, I consider my sweet spot Christian women, writers and speakers, and audiences of color. People that are, you guessed it, just like me. But I will never forget when God opened the door for me to speak to a majority white male audience that never, ever had a woman of color speak to them before. Talk about being nervous. That's an understatement. Y'all, every insecurity that I had was rising to the surface. The jokes, illustrations, stories, and examples that I was accustomed to using all seemed irrelevant, and I was unsure if they would work for my new audience. I was unsure about my talk. I had to remember that my message was not about me, it was about them, and that God had a specific purpose for choosing me to come and speak to them. Sis, this is the same for you and the audiences that God will place you in front of. In order to prepare for the event, I needed to take the time to know and understand the needs of my audience. This requires research. And so when we do not know our audience, a great place to start is with our event host or the event coordinator or the individual who referred you in the first place. These people are vested in you as a speaker because it impacts their reputation. They invited you, they want to look good. Ask them specific details about your audience. What is your audience's demographics? Things that you should consider are race, age, background, religion, ethnicity, education, level, gender, denomination, occupation, etc. How you speak to them will be different. What are your audience's pain points? Some pain is universal. There are pain points that are just a part of the human experience and everyone will be able to relate to them. What are you speaking about? How can you tailor your talk for this specific audience? What is the audience's level of knowledge about your speaking topic? What are the audience's expectations for you, for the event? If you are speaking for an event, visit the event website. And familiarize yourself with the tone, the aim, and typical attendees of the event. If you are speaking for a corporation, then familiarize yourself with the mission of the corporation and the culture of the organization. Now, once we familiarize ourselves with the answers to these and other questions, we will be more than ready to begin crafting our talk or our presentation or our message for our audience. Not only that, but we will have insight on how to take an existing talk and tailor or modify it for our new audience. The ability to tweak and change messages for different audiences will increase your versatility as a speaker and thereby result in more speaking invitations and also help you to get invited back again and again. Yes, girl. Hey sis, if you are a communicator, a writer, or a speaker and you desire to be effective, you may feel like this is a daunting task. Girlfriend, it is. This is why I created a 7-question quiz to help you figure out where you need to start. I want to encourage you to take my effective communicator quiz to gain clarity on your communicator journey. Simply click the link in the description section of this video or of the podcast. Additionally, if you are interested in connecting with some like-minded women who are also writers and speakers, I want to encourage you to join our free community of entrusted women that are focused on determining the message we have been entrusted with and the intentional purpose that God created us for. Finally, I want you to come back next week as we talk about the #1 place that many businesses end up. Girl, you don't want to miss that.